Grand rising and peace to all the gods and goddesses of planet Kai. Peace to all the divine beings and chosen ones all around the world, family. I'm sending y'all high vibrational energy and gratitude. It's divine intellect signing in. As y'all can see, family, from the title, let's talk about, these mountains, what they call mountains today. The mountains are actually tree stumps. Like, look at these mountains, right? These giant trees, because anciently, when you look at the aboriginals, the indigenous, the ancient Egyptians, like, we were gigantic, we were huge in size before the frequencies on the planet was manipulated and lowered everything down to a low frequency, right? Because even to this day, we're remembering, we're rising, we're getting back to how things were anciently in divine timing. So we're slowly wiping the crust out of our eyes as our people are starting to wake up, realize what's been going on, realize we've been lied to, realize what we come from, realize who we are anciently, and overall, our roots, our, just overall our culture. Before we were shrunk in size, family, think about how, like I said, we were so gigantic, right? Think about our trees on this planet, right? They were gigantic just like we were, family. With our people being that gigantic, like I said, like the ancient Egyptians was, even with the pyramids. Look how huge the pyramids was before they cut the noses off the pyramids, because they know that was black and carbonated beings who created those pyramids, and they didn't want you to see the resemblance of the nose because they knew that who it was. They know who he was, like, and they wanted our people to be confused and lost, right? So we wouldn't think that it was us. But anyway, even looking at the ancient Egyptians, looking at how gigantic we were in size before our planet was manipulated in frequency, right? Think about the pyramids that's still around in America to this day, because America is actually ancient Egypt and not the Egypt that they telling us that's Egypt. That's not Egypt. Ancient Egypt is right here in America, family. That's why our pyramids and everything is still here to this day. They just want us lost and confused from knowing that. And you think that these races just dislike you because of your skin? Family, they dislike you because they know this is your shit. We are connected to all of divine source's creations, because we are connected to divine source as divine beings, as gods and goddesses, aboriginals of this land. We have a divine connection to this planet because we are everything and everything is us. So everything that you see around you, you are connected to. So the thing is, like, they told us that our tree stumps, these giant trees, right, are mountains. They cut down all our ancient trees, because they was that huge. Like, you go in the forest, even these tree stumps, these which they call mountains, right? Confirmation. These tree stumps that they call mountains are so huge. Why they, like, look at how big they are. Look at how gigantic these mountains are, which are actually trees. Like, and they already in the forest, family. They didn't just grow like that overnight. They've been there. So our trees, they've been here along with us when divine source created us, because we are all connected to this planet as divine beings. You are plant-based beings, aboriginals. I'm speaking mainly to, like, the gods and goddesses, the aboriginals of this land, right? We are connected to everything around us. So our trees was here along with us as well when we was created by divine source. As above, so below. So they label them mountains, but they're actually trees. They're big tree stumps that was cut, and they use these as reserves and as for people to come and visit these sites, these mountains, where they label them as mountains. But the people will come and see them, come to the forest, pay. Tourists would come from different countries, different places all over the world to pay to come see these mountains, because they're all over the place. Our huge gigantic trees that was cut down, which are just huge tree stumps that they label as mountains today, they're everywhere around the U.S. for people to go visit, resorts, walk, go through trails, even climb up the mountains. I remember being here in Atlanta, going to Stone Mountain. Actually walking up the whole entire mountain, family. I remember those moments and getting to the top. Like, it's like it's definitely a long, like, walk, like, as far as going up, hiking up, trailing up. But as soon as you get there, you see everything. You see damn near the whole city. You see everything around you. literally, when you get to the top of it, right? That's how big our trees actually were for real before they was cut down by the invaders. And you know, our trees, they have life. Trees, they was our trees, you know, just like they show you on these cartoons, like on Disney and different things you see, like with the trees talking and moving along with the wind, like that was actually real before our planet was manipulated and the frequencies was lower, and they told us that magic wasn't real, and they basically labeled all of that fiction. So they got you thinking that it's fiction and that it didn't exist. But when they constantly doing stuff like poisoning your food, you know, putting chemicals in the soil and trying to destroy the planet overall and keep it at a low frequency, what you expect? You know, you won't be able to, it won't be able to be at its most organic, natural state to flow like that. Just like as us as gods and goddesses, like when we're lost and unaware of who we are, we're not able to just flow in our original state or who we are authentically on a spiritual level. You know, we have to heal and do the work, shadow work, to grow and to rise and continue rising. We still rising and evolving every day. But it's all about getting back to who you are and getting back to who you were, because that's what times we're going back into now in the age of Aquarius. And that's the age we in now, actually. So everything is being revealed. So they basically making money off our trees, you know, our ancient trees. And then the tree, like all our other the trees that we see today, like all of these trees, like the synthetic trees that they got up now, you know, they cut down all the original trees, but they're still rooted within the ground, within the soil, right? Even though they put a synthetic tree up, it's still the energy of the ancient original tree that was there before the tree that the invaders and oppressors tried to put in place, like these synthetic trees. The energy from the ancient tree that they cut down is still there within the soil. So the energy never leaves. And as the frequency rise on the planet, like the energy is still alive, even with the synthetic tree being up. Like the roots and the soil of these trees is still alive. So the energy is still there, even with them putting up a synthetic tree. But with these synthetic trees, they can't produce. They don't produce fruits, don't produce nothing organic for you to eat from. And that was by design, for them to put these certain trees in play and get rid of our ancient trees that was here before they came and invaded. They was never supposed to destroy nature. Anytime you cut nature, anytime they put chemicals on nature, anytime they doing anything as far as cutting, you know, as far as cutting grass, whatever, all of that is destroying mother, because you're literally cutting down her growth. You're literally getting rid of, you know, crops and plants. You're literally destroying everything when you're cutting it and cutting it down. So everything that was organic, it wasn't, you know, everything that was organic, it was able to produce. It was able to give us fruits, vegetables, things that we needed to survive, so we wouldn't have to run to these grocery stores and spend money. Because we didn't need money right at that time, because there wasn't a monetary system anciently. We weren't using money. So they tried to get smart with that by making you have to spend money to come buy your fruits, buy your vegetables, when you could literally, it was literally supposed to be growing off the land. And then they put laws and restrictions in order for you not to be on certain property or to not have your own land without going through certain, you know, paper contracts and paperwork in order to get your land for you to even start farming again. You see the bullshit? Instead of letting you just freely just planting and growing fruits and vegetables on any part of the land, and you know, it comes with contracts and all type of laws and different things in place, you know, that they put in order to stop you. But yeah, like they cut down all our ancient, like, trees, our huge trees, which are basically, they call mountains today, but they're just huge tree stumps, and they're making a profit off letting people come tour and visit. And it's like, you know, this was stuff like when our people anciently was over this land and had full control over this land, like we were literally connected to our trees on a whole deeper level. And for them to be that huge, just imagine how huge we were as ancient Egyptians, aboriginals, and indigenous people of this land before the frequency was manipulated, right? So yeah, it's like they make it so much difficult nowadays for you to, like I said, they try to make it difficult for you to even grow and, have organic fruits and organic vegetables and organic plant-based things that we would need in our vessels. Because as divine beings, as gods and goddesses, you are plant-based beings. You're supposed to be on an alkaline diet, and that's what Dr. Sebi was also letting us know too, that we are plant-based beings. That's the whole point of the alkaline diet. And just the way that the trees' roots, like the roots that's in the ground of the trees, the way that the roots grow and how they look is the same way, similar to how your veins look in your vessel, in your body, right? Your veins, how they look is the same way that the roots grow out, or the roots, stretch out in the ground or in the soil of these trees. Your veins look the same way because you share a connection, a divine genetic connection to these trees, family, to nature in general, because you're a plant-based being. This is where we come from. We come from nature. So this is about getting back connected to the planet as the planet shifts back to its most organic state, anciently, how it was before it was invaded. And that's the times we're moving into. The more that we do the work to heal ourselves and become aware and get back out here and get back connected to our planet, family, because the more that you spend time in nature, the more you heal yourself. The more that you spend time in nature, the more you have more of a connection with the animals, the plants, and everything around you. You feel more of a connection. Like, they really fear us. And when I say they, I'm talking about these oppressors, these invaders, these, hierarchy human beings, these races. They fear us getting back out here and getting grounded, getting connected to the planet. And then also they fear us activating, being able to tap into the elements, because anciently we could tap into the elements. We could have the wind do what we wanted it to do, have the fire do what we wanted it to do, have the earth, step in and do different things for us on our behalf, and what we put out there based off our intent and what we spoke, because that's, as gods and goddesses, like I said, as above, so below. Yes, it's the most high divine source. We're connected to divine source, as above, so below. But as gods and goddesses, you had like anciently, and you still do to this day, you have the genetic codes within you have the galactic codes within your genetic makeup, as far as being able to unlock certain gifts and put certain things out into the atmosphere to, create what you wanted, or whatever you wanted to manifest. Like, as far as telling the wind to, blow harder for you, wind to do this for you, or we had those certain gifts and abilities as far as being, alchemists. We was able to do what we wanted to do as far by command, like a commander. We was able to command what we wanted, because that's how connected we was to nature and to our land before we were disconnected, and before they tried to make our people, before they divided us, So yeah, if this video resonate with y'all, family, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video to more divine beings and chosen ones all around the world, family. Divine intellect signing out, family. Love.